So I don't have, have you got the paperwork there? Jennifer? You have a copy?
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, members of council, members of management, I'd like to welcome you to this special meeting of council. From time to time, we have to call a special meeting in the run of a year. Sometimes it happens 2 or 3 times. This is our meeting today, October 27th, and it is 4:16 p.m. Thursday in the great town of Stephenville, Newfoundland, working towards becoming one of the greenest communities in Canada. That's a pretty good statement. So I'd like to welcome anybody that have logged in to our public meeting today. And on that note, I would ask a member of council to move that we adopt the agenda as circulated.
Awesome.
Moved by Councillor Tracy Boland, seconder.
A second.
Second, Councillor Myra White, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. The previous meeting minutes that were circulated requesting approval of the minutes for October 20th, 2022, 7 days ago. I would ask somebody move that those minutes be approved. Moved by Councillor Lenny Tiller, second by Councillor Laura Aylward, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carried. Are there any matters arising from those minutes? We do have one cited before I get into item A that is cited. Any other matters arising from the minutes? No? Okay, so we're going to rescind the motion 22-313, number 22-319. And that motion will actually be rescinded because the nominal amount didn't represent the costs of increases when it came to municipal capital works. So I would ask, do we rescind that at this point? Yes. That motion? Yeah. I would ask a member of council to move that we rescind motion 22-319. Moved by Councillor Tracy Boland, second.
A second.
Second, Councillor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, proclamations and delegations. We don't have any today. Tomorrow we will be actually at 2:30. The president of the Legion will be coming over to sell us the first poppy during the poppy campaign. So if any councillors are available to be here tomorrow, that would be great. But the poppy represents so much. It's veterans. It resonates out of World War I in Flanders Fields. But the poppy campaign is solely to help veterans, and veterans that serve today, that are still serving, veterans that have been lost in all the wars. There are veterans from Canada, freedom fighters that are fighting in the Ukraine today to stem the aggression of Russia and to hold on to our democracy. So the Poppy campaign is a very, very important event that the Royal Canadian Legion here, Branch 35 in Stephenville, does a stellar job in promoting. So I'd also like to mention, before we move on to our committee reports, is we did have representation in Toronto for a ride that supports firefighters in Canada, and it's for a great cause. And Nigel Pike from our stellar and our pristine group of leaders in the fire department represented Stephenville. And I believe we may have been the only fire department in Newfoundland, Labrador that was at this event. So he shows great leadership as a community person in our town. He's a great athlete. He does a lot of volunteer work with our mountain bike trails. And he has been the champion for our bike lanes in Stephenville. We would not have had as much success with bike lanes if it were not for Nigel Pike. I will say that at this public meeting. So he's to be applauded, tapped on the shoulder, and a big thank you to him for that. This year we didn't get a lot of work on our bike lanes because we had some problems with a contractor having to not be available to paint our lines this year. We scrambled with a a subcontractor. We managed to get the priorities done. But next year, we'll have a greater presence on bike lanes, crosswalks, because bike lanes and crosswalks are critical to the safety of our community. So I'd like to mention that. So I'm going to turn it over to our Finance Committee, Councilor Myra White, for item 5.1, the Finance Committee report.
Thank you. Our accounts payable listing for September 2022, requesting approval to pay accounts payable for September 2022 totaling $389,557.89. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councilor Lenny Tiller, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 2, approval to sign contribution agreement, Climate Change Challenge Fund, CCCF, and Low Carbon Economy Leadership Fund, 2018 to 2024. Requesting authorization for the Chief Administrative Officer to sign the contribution agreement for the Climate Change Challenge Fund, CCCF, and Low Carbon Economic Leadership Fund 2018-2024 in the anticipated amount of $497,532.84. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide the estimated cost share of $180,951.87. It's 26.67% for the fuel switching at the Bay St. George YMCA. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second by Councilor Tracy Boland. I'm just wondering if I could get some clarification, Mr. Maddock, on that one. What I love to see about this is changing a town-owned facility to a more efficient model for heat and exchange. And it's also great to see that the leadership within our management team at the town office is looking at funding and programs continually, from our recreation to our economic to our management and so forth, because this is an opportunity where we leverage funding. This is federal funding, and this is almost a 75-25 ratio. And anytime that we can leverage funding before we spend the hard-earned tax dollars that we receive, it makes so much sense. And as you well know, on some of our MCW projects, we only have to come up with 20%, some projects 50%, but this one was only 26.67%. That is wonderful. So I'm just wondering, is this going from oil fired to heat pumps or something? Is that
To electricity, to switch.
yeah, switch it over. So that's great news for the Y. It's going to lower our operational costs, I presume. That's what efficiency and innovation does. So on that note, all in favor? Motion carried.
Item number 3, request for sponsorship, Arts NL TV show, Home is Where the Art Is. Requesting approval that the town of Stephenville purchase a sponsorship package in the amount of $7,500 for the Arts NL TV show, Home is Where the Arts Is.
It is hard to say.
Where the ART is.
Well, depends on what part of Newfoundland, you might say heart, you know what I mean? Got to drop the H's, so there's a little bit.
I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second by Councilor O'Day. I'd just like to speak to that one a little bit. Not sure if all the councilors had a chance to see the clip that's happening on the news media, but this is an opportunity for us to market our town, but also to promote the arts in our town. And as you well know, the Stephenville Theater Festival is the longest serving professional theater group in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. We have the Bay St. George Artists Association. We have the Federal Folk Festival. We have Nomad Stages. We have so much. And with the growth of Stephenville and the pending young families that are going to start moving here, But you gotta remember, it's still not easy to attract workers. And when companies start to come in and they look for families to come and work at hydrogen plants or at the airport, a job today to attract the Generation Z and the Generation Y, the Generation X and all those people, a job is only 50% of the equation. The other 50% is, what does your town have to offer? From healthcare to arts to recreation. And the arts community is critical to us. And we are deeply strong because of our strong Acadian roots, our indigenous roots, and the big influence of the US Air Force Base. They say it played a significant role in the growth of our musicians. Because when the locals would see these big shows coming out of the US, and they were the best of the best at the time. And Laura, you've probably seen a few of them.
I did, yeah.
You know, so they say the locals would see them. Oh, that's how good they sound. That's how good their harmonies are. That's how good their choreography is. That's how good their instruments are. That's how good they dress. And they emulated it. And they say it played a role in the growth and the development of our Stephenville Theatre Festival. So it shows that by supporting the arts, it gets to promote Stephenville provincially again, because there's a lot of attention on Stephenville economically, and that's important, but knowing that we're a good community, a town of inclusivity, a town that supports the arts, actually pays dividends to our town. So on that note, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 4, approval to submit application, Municipal Capital Works Program and Investing in Canada's Infrastructure Program, requesting approval for the town of Stephenville to apply for the cost-sharing funding through the Municipal Capital Works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $10,892,450.00. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost shared funding totaling $2,178,490.00 for the project should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project cost above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. So the 2023 Municipal Capital Works project total project estimates: Russell Heights reconstruction, $1,248,821. Rose Avenue reconstruction, $1,985,345. Colonial North reconstruction, $1,809,994. Colonial North, oh, I just read that one, sorry. Empire Avenue reconstruction, $2,656,686.
86.
Okay, $2,656,686. St. George's Avenue reconstruction, $3,191,604. The total cost of $10 million. Oh. Every time I get to the millions, like I'm blown away.
Yeah. As long as you're not into the billions, I think we can handle some long-term projects in the millions, okay?
So,
settle down.
The total cost would be $10,892,450,000. I so moved.
Can you repeat that?
Okay, $10,892,450.00. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Lindsay. I'd just like to, just for the listening audience and just for clarification, So every one of these projects is full reconstruction. That would mean water and sewer, curb and gutter, repaving. And this is all infrastructure. As we know, we're a town that's celebrating our platinum anniversary this year, 70th year as an incorporated town. And but this is an 80-20 ratio that we only have to pay 20%. Most years, you can get anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 4 projects approved, depending on the scale of the amount. This year, we got indications that our Main Street project is approved. That's 5 million. So if you look at this, we could probably get 3 or 4 of them approved next year. And we will definitely be pushing the province this year. And I'm hoping to go in during budget time to meet with the Minister of Finance and Minister Howell, because we're going to grow as a community, we really need to start getting support both provincially and federally so that we can get our town ready for upgrades to water and sewer and so forth, that we can plan a good expansion of our town, both into residential, commercial, light industrial, and heavy industrial segues. So, or not segues, but areas. That's a better word. Okay. Okay, I'll segue into the next now. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 5, a request for grant from the Stephenville Airport Corporation, requesting approval that the town of Stephenville provide a grant in the amount of $30,305.22 to the Stephenville Airport Corporation to cover July and August Wasco administration fees. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councillor Tracy Boland. Question.
Just some clarity on this one. Do we know if this is the final payment?
Yeah.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
I understood that right away.
Yeah, so it's July and August, but it's actually the full month of July, and I think it was till August 19th was when the Wasco contract closed,
Okay,
and it was roughly 20,000 a month. We did get briefed by the chair of the airport corporation Tuesday at lunchtime.
I missed
So
that.
Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
So basically, the deal and the process is following protocols between the two legal teams. The Diamond Group has paid off the bankruptcy and all trustees.
Okay,
And that's been validated through Dolan Raymond, which is the trustee. That's really good news. It's just that once that was done and validated, the courts still have to release it. And there's a couple of time bars associated with releasing a bankruptcy. There's a 30-day, a 30-day, and a 15-day.
Yeah.
That's at the outset. So unfortunately for the airport, they can't actually receive the funds for the sale of the airport and transfer the deed of the airport until the court allows it.
Okay.
And so it's within a couple of months before it's fully done. We did get an update from Carl Diamond and Hatch Engineering that they're on schedule to start construction in April of 2023. And it's interesting because it's the same month that the hydrogen plant and the wind farm project would start with World Energy.
okay.
So both projects are on scale, on target, and but this is the final.
Yeah, I remember over the course of the summer, the comment was made that it was sometime around this time that it ended, so I just wanted to clarify that, that contract.
So let's hope that this is the final payment, and in the new year, we see more robust activity at the airport, and we can start a new tax regime, Mr. Manager, and start collecting taxes on a vibrant airport once again.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
We're certain this can't be a loan, right?
100%, yeah.
I talked to municipal affairs and the response I got from them was not much better. They said, we don't really know.
Yeah.
It wasn't yes or no, it was,
Yeah.
I need to get off the phone because we don't know what the answer is, so.
Sometimes you'll find out with the bureaucrats too, and I've been dealing with them for quite a time, just like most people have, whether you're in business or in politics or you're in management. Sometimes it's so fluid in their thought processes that to get them to put it in writing and identify black and white, here's, sometimes you can get that, and that's nice. But when they only give an opinion or they don't really know.
Yeah.
Our opinion is probably better than theirs at that point.
Yeah, unknown territory.
Yeah, so anyways, let's hope all files move forward and things move ahead. So all in favor?
Aye.
Contramine? One contramine noted, motion carried. Okay, so bylaws and regulations, are there anything? Unfinished business, anybody got anything to follow up? I got a little bit on healthcare I'd like to speak about, Laura, if you don't mind.
Yeah, getting back to regulations and bylaws. When can we see a start of the regulations for the animal control? Because I've seen,
We're in the process of drafting it, but there's, we've looked at the corner regulation, and I think it provides a good balance thing, but it's a little bit different because they have their own act. So we have to be able to adapt it and then try to find a way to be able to ensure that it's consistent with the Municipalities Act. So that's one thing we're doing, especially section 6 on that, which controls the actual actions of the dog catcher or the animal control officer. There's some training that has to be done to be able to allow us to be able to do that. So we're looking now with our municipal enforcement officer to see, and he's in the process of drafting that to be able to fit into our circumstances, and also to be able to give us some, advice or direction on what training he's going to have to be able to do to be able to enforce the act or that regulation as it's enforced in Cornerbrook. So it's in process. It's going to take a little bit of time. It also, we hope, when we do the review and the reorganization, we should get other regulations that will be proposed to us from our consultants that will maybe give us more of a depth on animal control. Because again, it's not just that, it's a wider range of policies that we have to be able to develop to make it consistent, and interlinked. So we're in the process of doing that. It's going to take us I would say another few weeks, I think, to get to the point where we have something
okay.
consistent, but we'll come to council with a recommendation.
I think, looking at the Cornerbrook regulations, I believe, if I can remember correctly, they only allow like 5 pets. Don't say dogs or anything like that. 5 pets. It could be a cat or whatever. So they're limited, and it's 5. So I think that's a good idea to limit a number.
Hours, is it 4? You're only allowed to have 4 dogs?
I don't know.
Remember anything there?
I'm not sure.
We can check it out, Mr. Mayor.
But I think too, I know we've been really busy, especially for the finance committee and management. We got to get working on the budget fairly quickly, because there are time bars associated with our submission to municipal affairs.
Yeah.
We've always been able to do it, so that's good. But we need to actually get a day, and we got to start working on some policies as we move forward in 2023.
Mr. Mayor, we should have, we would hope in the next 4 to 6 weeks, response back to the consultants that we're contracting, and we'll get some clarity on a broader based policy framework,
Okay.
which would be consistent with the other municipalities which have gone through a reorganization, which we haven't done. So if we can wait until that point.
Yeah,
we'll
and
get
then
back
we can
and
look
then
at that and then
Yes.
fine tune it.
Yeah, absolutely. Local is it for Stephenville, it might be.
Because you got to remember, every community, every region or province, there's different nuances and culture and so there's certain things that we may really want to focus on because we're focused on. So I'll give you an example, riparian zones. There's the Department of Environment and Protection provincially, and we must be cognizant as a council that when we allow development to happen, that we're not impeding on those eco-sensitive areas, river streams with German brown trout. That comes easy now, German. It seems like we may see some influence of German, but Atlantic salmon, and so they're all sensitive ecosystems, even our wetlands. People don't realize how fortunate Canada is to have so much water and so many wetlands. And a wetland is the best filter that you could ever imagine to protect us as human beings on this planet. When you look at, out by Stephenville Crossing, that Braemore Bog, that's a protected bog for a reason. There's nobody going into that and ripping that up for Pete, because it is protected for a reason. And that protects our drainage coming down from the hills to the ocean. And they're all really, really important. So that's some of the things that we'll work on, and we got a lot to work on.
You do?
Okay, that's good. So November's going to be a busy month. So I just got a couple of quick updates about myself and Marissa from our Wellness and Recreation Department just returned back from Lake City, a very successful trip. This has been in the works for about almost a year. And that's where we have been paired with Lake City, South Carolina and Stephenville. And it's called Inside the Circle. There's going to be a PBS, a broadcast crew that'll come out of Columbia, South Carolina into Stephenville in June of 2023 and do a film shoot here. That will be on PBS across US states. And if we were to buy the advertising that's going to give us, we could never do it. We're probably, I would say, go on record to say we're now as probably the most Americanized town in Canada because of the influence of the US Air Force Base for 25 years and our friendly invasion tourism theme. But I got to say, both Marissa and I were very impressed with the hospitality and the greetings that we received down there from the people with Artsfield. So the plan is the head director of PBS will be flying in Stephenville in early December just to do a little recon and look at everything. It's going to be broadcast across also with Bell TV, but the big PBS broadcast will give us the greatest marketing for our town. But there's even talks of furthering this that through Arts NL that we just sponsored, there's a bit of a tie-in there with PBS. They're pretty excited, by the way, that we're doing this with PBS in Lake City. But they're looking at supporting that 6 artists from Stephenville will go down to Artsfield on April 22nd. And it could be music, artists that like painters and so forth. And remember, all these paintings here are from our local artists. And culinary, because we got unique culinary with our indigenous support from the college and whatnot. But they will also send up 6 of their artists to be here for the film shoot in June also. So it could actually grow to be a cultural exchange. And I have to say the hospitality in South Carolina, this is my first time ever there. And I would highly recommend anybody to visit, and just really good people, great hospitality, and we were welcomed beyond belief, and it felt really good. So on April 22nd, we'll decide who needs to go back for that event, but we'll probably have to send staff and council or council members down there for the filming of that event, because on PBS, both events will be kind of show how we're connecting. So that's one thing. On Saturday, both myself and the town manager are flying to Paris as part of the economic framework, the EU program sponsored to work with Saint-Germain-des-Serres. Which is, what's the Sermet? Serlet. Saint-Germain-Serlet. My Francais is not that good, just saying. But anyways, so it's a city just south of Paris, 25,000 people. They were here in August. Myra, you and I went with them and Colin. We did a tour of the Port Peninsula. We've also partnered with Cornerbrook on this because we needed 25,000 people. Cornerbrook wasn't big enough. We're not big enough between Cornerbrook and Stephenville. And I do believe the manager from Cornerbrook is attending also. We were supposed to have a representative of the College of North Atlantic, but I understand.
Unfortunately, she's sick.
And she couldn't find a replacement.
No, unfortunately, she couldn't at that late date. And Charles Pender, the mayor of Corner Brook was supposed to attend as well, but Charles Pender is going in his place, Councillor Pender.
Oh, Councilor Penner's going? I think he is French.
He's
He's a French teacher, I believe.
I believe he is, yeah.
Well, he'll have to interpret.
He is, yeah, because Kimberly got him and she
I'll
loves,
be
she finds them,
contacting him for that.
she finds them really good. My granddaughter got him for it.
But you know, I'm pretty excited to be going. I've never been to France. Actually, on my mom's side, the bourgeois, they actually came out of Saint Malo, France, which is a port city. Like, a lot of people came out of different ports and so forth, yeah.
If I can add, Mr. Mayor, this is a fully funded program by the European Parliament.
Okay.
So this is, there is no cost to the taxpayers of Stephenville on this program as well. And it's implemented by the European Union, but it's a wider program involving a significant amount of other cities. And then once you participate in one program, then it opens into another network of thousands of international and European cities that can be involved in future programs. And usually if you're involved in one program, then you'll get involved in more and more and more as we go forward. So it's an entry point for us.
So I think, no doubt, Stephenville has always been kind of a cosmopolitan international town because of our history. But because of what's happening now, since the Green Energy Accord will truly become international again, and utilizing our connections and background from our manager with the EU, we're going to capitalize on that. But it's an opportunity to put Stephenville on the map worldwide. And programs like this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. This is purely economic development. And the one thing I did learn from the contingent from France, municipalities they have more areas of responsibility. Like the province downloads housing, social housing, stuff like that. Flat out their housing. But in their municipalities are responsible for, like, the guardian angel, for example. That's not directly involved with the town. It's a group that we support, but like they really get involved on the ground floor with a lot of social programs and stuff like that. So we're going to learn from them. They'll close this off here in a second. That's better. So that's a big step forward. The only thing I did check the forecast while I'm gone. It's going to be beautiful weather for the next week in Stephenville. And that this time of the year, I don't like to leave, but I got to go. But it better not be raining in France when I get over there. I'm leaving good weather, Stephenville. So the last one I want to speak on is the healthcare files that we've been aggressively working on. I did get a email, Laura, from David Palmer.
Yeah,
Saying that they have a surgeon that's in the works. Let's hope it happens fast, because as we speak right now, we have no surgeon at our house.
what about the one in St. Anthony?
Well, I'm hoping it's that one. But they didn't give me the names, I guess, for proprietary reasons. But I wanted to know if our
Incentives were still in place.
Still is.
Yeah, well, you know, it's long overdue. That man's been waiting to come here, you know.
Oh my God, he's been
And
interviewed.
he's been
He's wanting to
interviewed.
come here.
Yeah, weeks ago.
And, so I think if you could do me a favor, call Dennis Rashley and David Palmer for me next week or this week if you can, just to get a follow-up, because you carry a lot of weight when it comes to healthcare. And so if you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to mention is I did get a call from one of the key nurse practitioners in Stephenville, who's been doing a lot of recruiting for us too. And as we well know, we're still short about 3 or 4 3Ps in Stephenville.
Mhm.
But we do have nurse practitioners that step in and take over caseloads. So for example, my doctor is a nurse practitioner, and they came with a lot of experience and so forth. But in our recruitment package, we do have significant recruitment for GPs and specialists. We don't have anything for nurse practitioners. We don't even have travel. So I do know that there's a nurse practitioner from Corner Brook who wants to move to Stephenville. And we were querying to see that could we cover the travel costs or the moving costs, should I say. So that's something I'm wondering if council could consider putting on the agenda for Tuesday. Jennifer knows this file really well. I've talked to her on this because she coordinates with the Legion who administers this for us. So right now, we have nothing for nurse practitioners other than the retention. So we have nothing on the recruitment side. So even to step forward with just the moving expenses would be, I think, a step in the right direction. But I'd like for finance to consider having a table for discussion with management on Tuesday. And when is Halloween? Monday? Yeah.
Monday. When are
So
you
we're
leaving?
now doing our 2 meetings on Tuesdays at 4, correct?
Yes.
As a go forward,
Mhm.
back to back, yeah. Okay,
When are you leaving?
leaving Saturday.
Saturday at 2:15.
Oh, so you'll be here for the public
When
meeting?
do we get back?
We
Colin?
get back, we travel back on the 4th. Or you travel back on the 4th, I take
Yeah,
you, but
so do I get home late Friday night? I
you
can't
get back at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday
Or
morning.
Saturday morning. Okay, because there's a Remembrance Day dinner at the Legion on Saturday evening.
When?
You'll be well here by the
What's the date for the, Legion.
That's the 5th.
5th.
oh, it's on the 5th, isn't it?
Remembrance Day dinner.
Oh, I didn't
I
know.
would recommend that any of the counselors, if you haven't been to a Remembrance Day dinner at the Legion, you should really try to go because it's a
Yeah,
wonderful
I
day.
always go.
Yeah. So.
Getting back to the nurse practitioners. Kevin, my son Kevin's daughter Katie, got a good friend, Dr. Malone. She's just been offered a position in Corner Brook, would you believe? Family practice, and they bought a house. I don't know what her husband does. Now, when that girl was recruited, I'm just wondering if the crowd in Western Health told her about our incentives. You know what I mean?
Well, I personally, I can't wait till we get down to one healthcare board. And if I was to recommend anything, if we get to the position that we have deficits in professional nurses, doctors, specialists, that down the road, we may hire our own recruiter.
Well, yeah,
Someone knows what they're doing because obviously we're not getting our compliment.
no.
So.
And you know, the thing about
Take a
that,
lot of horns from our side.
yeah, and the thing about that is that, well, I'm hoping the one board is going to be, you know, responsible, like, you know, for example, that Western Health is not going to be still doing what they're doing because,
We need to have a manager in Stephenville
Yeah.
that makes decisions. We can't be managed off-site on 100, probably, when you look at the facility and the costs, we're talking a $50 million facility with the structure and the operating costs of our hospital. You can't have it managed off-site. You gotta have managers with boots on the ground. And let's hope that this new restructure is gonna give us that. So.
well, you know, I'm hoping too, but I was talking to someone last night who had a family member have surgery in Gander, very, very dangerous surgery, you know. And you know, the surgeon was our Dr. Hassan that did it.
No way.
And he told her he was in Stephenville, and because her mother was from Stephenville, and she was singing his praises. So, you know, we lost him. So, and I don't know what's going on with Dr. Khan, the other anesthesiologist either, but.
We need to do a little follow.
So we got a lot to follow up on that, especially when you get back. Maybe we could have some kind of a meeting online or whatever.
Yeah. The last thing before I go, unfortunately, I heard we had Tristan probably heard about it, we had a hunting accident
Yeah,
over the last couple of days.
no, here?
Yeah, and a hunting party, we're going into the country with Argos and so forth. And I've been around that, I've been through all that myself, but apparently, one Argo got stuck. They tried to pull out the other Argo. for some strange reason, and it can happen, accidents happen, but a young man happened to be standing where the steel cable was, and it went around his ankle or lower part of his leg, and he lost his foot. And I can't stress enough about safety. It's no different when we had the issue, Lenny, at the emergency with Fiona that came through, when Colin, you guys had to go down and get people out of a home. And you know, that's like, sometimes people don't want to move. The fire could be on your door and they still don't want to leave their house. You've got to take the bull by the horns. But sometimes when it comes to winches and revolutions and pressure, and there's a group, somebody must take the lead and step in and take over as a safety officer. And it's no different when at the sporting firing range here in Stephenville. If there's more than 2 people, somebody must be the range officer, safety officer. Safety, you can't stress it enough, but it's so hard to hear that, you know, that accident happened. And, but I hope that everything goes well, whether it's prosthesis. I don't know if they can save the foot or not, probably not, I don't know.
Last I heard, I don't think so. It was more or less a freak accident, I guess, but for everybody's awareness, there's a lot of good articles online with regards to safety when operating around recreational vehicles. So especially in our neck of the woods where snowmobiling, hunting, side-by-siding, a lot of that stuff we enjoy on a daily basis. But unfortunately, it's a circumstance, the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And this is why we're starting to see a lot of recreational vehicles transition from the steel cables and the winches to the synthetic ropes.
Yeah.
Because when a synthetic rope gets that same kind of tension, there's no snapback. It actually just dies in the air.
Okay.
So unfortunately, with the wire cabling, you could have a couple weak strands
Yeah.
and it recoils back.
It's funny, I transitioned from
All of mine are.
from cable to the synthetic.
All of mine are too.
Yeah.
For that exact reason, the snapback, because I
Now,
personally have a friend who lost an eye the same way.
wow.
Yeah, it came back and the fibers just.
So anyways, within our own public works department too, you know, safety, we got a lot of heavy equipment. And sometimes they're out in low visibility and stuff like that, so. But anyways, I hope everything goes well for that young man. So on that note.
Well, just before we go, I just want to mention that the Radiothon, of course, has been canceled for this year. But I encourage people, especially businesses like that do give us money every year, and the organizations, that we are still accepting their donations.
Exactly.
And they can come in anytime on any Thursday from 1 to 3 and do their pledge, do their donation, and we can take a picture and put it on our Facebook. So I would like for people to know that. I don't know how many people's online listening, they could spread the word. We are putting it on our Facebook page as well, so
Sounds good.
see what's going to happen there. Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, I would ask somebody to move that we adjourn the meeting.
I so moved.
Moved by Councilor Tracy Cole.
Second.
Second Councilor Edwards, all in favor.
Aye.
Nobody contra Ronnie?
This evening.
Who seconded, sir?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Good meeting, guys.
So any new